Welcome everyone to another episode of Talent You Should Know, where we focus on the entertainment industry on a different level. Not only will there be artist and actor interviews of known and unknown talent, but insight into the team behind them that helps them build their brand. Each week, we'll tackle a different person in the industry with talents in their own rights. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Welcome everyone to another episode of Talent You Should Know with Zag. Today we have Famous. How are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am so good.
I appreciate you.
I'm so glad you made it here and, we're here together. So, now, my first question, right? You're on Mega Sci-Fi?
Yeah, I am. Gamma Chapter, Spring 19.
So it's the Delta's Founders Day today, correct?
I know. It's J13. Shout out to all my Deltas. Are you Greek?
I'm not.
You're not? Oh, so this is, hey, happy Founders Day from Famous Gamma Chapter, Spring 19.
My son is actually, he goes to college next year and he's going to pledge. So he's kind of working through what he's going to do. So.
Okay, where's he going? Where he?
He doesn't know where he's going yet. He's definitely going to go to HBCU. So.
Okay. Yeah, that should be good, especially everything HBCUs is just perfect to be.
Absolutely. Perfect. So now I want to talk about your name because I wanted to know, was that your line name or is that you speaking this into existence? Like, how did that come about?
To be honest, it was actually, I've always had Famous. I went from like Feezy to just random names when I was younger, because I've been doing music for quite a while. So like probably at the age of 13, my cousins, they from New York, they go by the name of L for L, they're a singing group, and we always used to be in their studio at these big studios, and I used to always just be like rapping, doing whatever. Yeah. And then my cousin always, there's a dude named, we called him Toothpick. He was working with Diddy at the time. Right. And so he was like this big dude to us. And he was like, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want to do when you grow up? I'm like, I want to be famous. He's like, I'm going to call you Famous for now. Like, every time he had, like, I was there for, like, probably a whole, like, I want to say, like, 6 months. And every time I see him around, oh, Famous. After a while, like, I just came home. And I started just rocking with that name. And then I do it to more, like, speaking to an existence. Like, it's also, like, my aura. But also just, like, I don't really care about fame. I'm really care about more, like, wealth. I'm a wealth guy.
Right.
But that's just, if that's what really, that's what everyone really already sees it as. So it's just like, yeah.
Yeah. So now, were you originally a DJ?
Nah, so I started off with rapping. I taught myself everything as far as like engineering and all that. And then at a certain point, like, obviously we know like DJing is a faster income. Mm-hmm. So at that point, I started DJing. Shout out to my guy, DJ Money. He kind of like taught me the business side, like, oh, you can make money off of this, like, quick. And so like I was doing parties from like 50 in the house parties and then to clubs going higher and higher. And then that was really bringing in the money. So, and after a while, but like DJing is fun and I love it. Don't get me wrong. But like the music's always been a passion. Like I like being in the studio. I like recording. I like hearing songs sonically and all that. So I kind of balance them both, like DJing brings in the money and the connections really too. I met a lot of artists through DJing easier than I would meet them. Oh, hey, I'm an artist, Famous. Yeah. I'm a DJ. Oh yeah, let me give you your music. And then they talk, they hear my music. Oh, okay, I fuck with you on that level too now. And so it's like, it goes hand in hand for real.
Well, what's interesting is, what I've noticed about like your transition is that a lot of your music is it's almost placed like a DJ would place it because you have such variety. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the reggae, but then there's
yeah.
It's just a good mix. So are you West Indian or no?
Yeah, well, I'm from the islands. I'm Haitian.
Oh,
100% Haitian. So I'm in the islands a lot, but yeah, I love that whole feel. Like before, like honestly, that my project before I figure you're probably gonna get into it later, but it's really more how do I say, I see a variety because I hear so much music. Like I like listening to rock, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? I like listening to like Spanish music, like so much different music, but that's as a DJ. So like when I'm making my music, I'm making club music, sad music, because I like to place my music in different areas, not just like, oh, one area, oh, this is only for the clubs and stuff like that. Because there's artists that's like that, and you can find your avenues anywhere, for real.
Yeah. So the first thing I want to talk about No Service, No Help, right?
Oh, okay.
I think that was that your first EP?
Yeah, my first released EP. I dropped 2 personal kind of mixtapes on Spinrilla.
Right.
But those are like deep, but like my first like push, like probably promo and all that was No Service, No Help. It was a collab EP.
Yeah. So I liked a couple of the songs on there, like Where Were You? You know, you have a couple of nice lines, you know, when I was broke, where were you? You let me starve. And, you know, I can't trust no more. Like, I think that, you know, with artists that have been grinding so long, that's like a common, you know, feeling like, hey, you know, like, the fuck, like, how do you feel right now? But where were you like 8 years ago when I was so I could pay for studio time? You know what I mean? So go ahead.
Personally, like, so like everyone around me now, they really been around me since those times, and there's those people that, like, you know, I don't mind meeting new people, you know what I'm saying, but I'm a big person on trust, and I'm a big person on like loyalty. Like, you can have a whole bunch of money, you want to help me out, do whatever, but I'd rather go with someone that I know for a while that's willing to build with me. And that's how I am. So like that song, honestly, Uncle Vandy's on there. He's also an artist. We're in the same label, in the same entertainment group, Take One Entertainment. But me and him, we always been going back and forth. Like, well, that's like my cousin, I would say. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like we also like we have something coming too, like for spring too. Like, we just always working. So like he'll send me something and he'll be like, yo, this is crazy. Right. So like, and vice versa, I'll send something and he'll just send a verse back, and I'm like, whoa, like, so like we always connect on that level. And that song, that was my favorite song, and like I couldn't stop playing it for like I swear a whole summer. And like usually I get tired of my own music. I'm like, no, I'm not listening to that. But that song is deep. It really, when I was younger, it just really it resided in me. Like, dang, like I came a long way to like give myself enough credit, type thing, you know.
Yeah. I also liked on that the EP. I liked Ponder Copy. And
you do, yeah.
Because I felt like it was R&B and dancehall at the same time.
Yeah. That was actually like my first dancehall track that I really was like, oh shit, this is fire. Like I'm ready to put this out, because we actually, no, that was my second one. We did a remix to Work. I don't know if you ever heard of that one, but we did a remix to Work, and that one was like the first one. We were playing it in like clubs out here, and I'm from Lowell, I'm from Massachusetts, so like we was playing in clubs out here and all that, and everybody would like say little lines from there. I'm like, oh, this shit like really rocking, you know.
So where is Lowell in comparison to like Boston?
Okay, so it's like 30 minutes north.
Okay.
You know where New Hampshire is, right? So it's like on the borderline of New Hampshire.
Okay.
So like, yeah, like I could drive to New Hampshire in like 10, 20 minutes.
Got it.
For real.
So yeah, I'm from Jersey, so I know like that whole area.
Are you from Jersey?
Yeah, I used to drive from Boston all the time. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So after that, there was a bit of a hiatus. Did you DJ more during that time, or?
Yes. So I went to college.
Okay.
And like I said, I taught myself everything as far as like engineering and all that. So I had a home studio, and me being at college, I was dormant playing football. The balance wasn't there. Like at night you have the time for parties, and also I needed money in college because like my mom helped me a lot with college, but like as far as like buying me like food to eat, you know, and things that I want to do, I never really tried to ask her for that because she already helped me so much in trying to get me into college. So like that's how like we kind of work, just naturally. So I'm like, damn, like I gotta get money. And me and my mans, we just started throwing parties, and we went to one party. We're like, yeah, this is whack, we need to take this over. And we just started throwing parties, and it became a big thing. So after a while, other promoters were reaching out to me trying to get me DJ, and I had a gig for like 4 gigs every single week in college, and it was lit. But like as far as the music side, it was hard to record. It was hard to do anything. So like, And after a while, I just had to get right back into it. Towards my junior, sophomore year, I brought my studio to my dorm because I started having like single rooms. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm bringing my studio to my dorm. And then I just like, at that point, I was still trying to find my sound too. Like, it was hard. So like, I didn't like, oh, I like that song. I have a whole bunch of throwaway songs that I don't even listen to. I just look at it. I'm like, dang, I missed this song, but it's not me, you know? So I'll probably give it to someone as like a song, right?
I noticed that you released a couple of singles in between that, and you had On My Own, which, you know, you talk about lost, working from 9 to 9, hustling. And I like the line where you said you were playing Follow the Leader, but now I'm bossing.
Yeah.
Got no love because I gave it all away. And don't let them try to take your heart away. I like that between that one and Granted, which was really personal.
Oh, Granted, yeah, that's a low key one. I feel like that's underrated. I love that song.
Hard. That's actually, I do like a weekly playlist, so I'm gonna put on my playlist for this week.
Appreciate.
What I said in my notes is that this is the kind of music that like is you. Like I feel like me personally, you are so strong when it's like personal.
Yeah.
Like from like your heart rate, like that is like the best thing, you know?
Yeah. You know, I've heard that before. I try to get personal. Like I'm a person that, you know, sometimes I get like, I struggle like sometimes with like anxiety sometimes. So like I got certain things on my plate that I don't let out. But like when I do let it out, I'm usually just high in the studio and I don't even realize it. But like when I go back and listen to the lyrics or see what I like, you know, what I recorded, I'm like, yeah, that's so true. Like, like you said, working at 99, stuff like that. Like, I haven't had a job for so long because I don't believe in it. Yeah. I'm like, I don't mind working, but the thought of it is like, dang, I'm working when I could be doing what I need to do in order to, and it's no pun to no one, you know what I'm saying? Because everyone has different, you know, how they live their life, but that's just me personally. So like different lyrics like that. My man's got shot, and so that resonated with me. I never like, you know, I've had people that got shot, stuff like that, but like someone that's close to me like that, and I was there and stuff like that. So like I say that here and there, try to express how that makes me feel, because at the end of the day, that you know, it was a tragic night. But he's alive, luckily. But I'm just saying that like different things of that such, I try to like throw in there different verses. And I don't like giving everyone the full me. I like people to, you know, find it. So like, I try not to give it all on one track, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because even in Just Like My Father, you know, I was like, my heart was breaking, and you know, like, you know, you're making me learn that what I did, I'm a man, I'm gonna earn it, like earning back someone's love. And it's just like, wow, people have been in, but a lot of people don't vocalize that kind of heartbreak just from a man in hip hop.
Yeah.
And so I really loved how you mixed that in too.
Yeah, I mean, Just Like My Father, I that's a song that's like one of those songs that won't get old to me. And like I said earlier, my music can get old to me. I'm like, nah, I'm not listening to that no more. But that's like, it's just like, aside from what we just spoke about, just like things I go through in life, like even women, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not perfect. A lot of men aren't perfect. I know a lot of men can relate, especially being I'm still young. Yeah. And things of that such. So like, now I'm in a relationship, now I'm healthy, like everything's smooth for me. And like, as a growing man, you like look back and like, you see all the different things and you can put it into perspective, to have, you know, like a hood dude sing it, or I try to put it in this perspective to have, you know, things of hip hop people, you know, vibe to it. Even if they're not singing it with their heart, everyone likes, you know, a touchful song like that at the end of the day, no matter who you are. So
the next EP after that, it was Lando and Famous.
Yeah.
Love you guys together. I think
Lando,
super strong like combination.
Yeah. Lando actually he's also a part of entertainment group. But he's actually like he's my best friend. He lived up the street from me. And since like I was just with him earlier today type thing. But like he's a great songwriter. Like he has his up and downs. We're trying to find his sound. He's trying to he's building his platform. He has a lot coming. He has a whole like album coming and all that. Yeah. But we just always been working. Like our chemistry is like a second nature. Like he knows what songs to like. Oh, yo, hop on this. I know your verse is gonna be good on this. Vice versa. I already know. Like, yo, here, send it, whatever. And like that's like my brother, like my Spanish brother. So like, me and him are like really, really, really. That's like like I said, like my brother. So as far as the music, we connect like second natures.
Well,
It's like a no, just like Murder V.
I loved Graduated, and I felt
Okay.
like this EP was super consistent. Like, was that intentional for it to be all kind of like the same theme?
The novocaine summer we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Because yeah, that's the only one put up. I'm thinking about. Oh no, you talking about novocaine summer? Or you talking about
the other one, Landon?
the other one, the EP. Okay. So that EP was supposed to be, as you can see, the 4 songs on there are all like love story kind of things, and it goes. It's supposed to tell a story of basically like you get happy, like hold you down's the first track. So you know the girl's still stuck in her summer ways, mind you. We just dropped Novocaine Summer 2. I mean Novocaine Summer. We're gonna drop Novocaine Summer 2, I should say. But we just dropped Novocaine Summer, and so like. The first lyrics is, I see you still stuck in your summer ways.
Yeah.
That is like, you're going through the issues with the girl, and like Graduated, like, you know, a lot of people graduate in like May and stuff. We're like speaking about all the summer issues coming to light now that the fall's here and stuff like that. So that was intentional. Like we do a lot of intentional things, me and Chris, especially.
I liked also on that EP Guilty, because it talks about reflecting on, you know, the girl, you know, that you had, and you know, you said you let your ego get the best of you, and then going to like, now these chicks just ain't real. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and now it's like I'm around these, you know.
Yeah. I'm glad you really see that. That like makes me happy that like I know someone can actually like see it when they actually take your time to listen. So I appreciate you. But that going through like I said, it's like more a downfall. Sorry was Chris sent it to me, Lando, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, and when I did at first actually I was just more like, it's all right. Yeah. And then I did my verse and I put the song together and we did that. I'm like, yo, this song is so touching. Like we used to just sit in the car and listen to the whole thing, like the whole EP at least like 60 times, just running it, picking out little parts or whatever that we did and did not like. At the end of the day, we wanted that same vibe. We didn't want it to be able to, like, if you could play in a club, cool, but like we wanted it for someone to sit down and listen to. So for a girl going through something to listen to, for a guy going through something to listen to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So who inspires you? Like who are your inspirations?
Mainly for real, not his, I want to say this publicly, not his ways, because I don't know whatever situation he's in or whatever the case is, but as an artist and as his hustle and his sonically, I love Tory Lanez.
Okay.
I love Young Thug. Young Thug is like I usually be like, oh, that's my dad, like that's my uncle, like Baby. As far as like if you want to go way back to like when I was growing up, I really liked like Tupac. Yeah. I loved Biggie too. I love both sides. But I really like the way both of them actually just they have their own sonic sound, and I think that's a big thing because a lot of people sound like this person, that sound like that person, which could be good or bad. But I try to like find my own sound. Like, oh, like when my verse comes on, oh, that's famous. I know that's famous. It's not like, oh, like who's this? And like, just different. I try to, people around me are my inspiration too. Like, believe it or not, like some people, shout out DJ Triple, DJ has been around the whole time, and like I just know, like as an artist, if I make it, I know who my DJ. I know I have a couple people that's like, oh, like you always been there, so like I want to be able to give back because you helped me in any XYZ way. So like that really inspires me, like in reality. So,
and it's interesting when you bring up Biggie and Tupac because there's always that, you know, who's better and who's and I never pick who's better because I'm so invested in both of them, but I feel like lyrically they're so dope, and Pac, they expressed their pain in different ways, right? Like Pac was so poetic. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it was
yeah.
just like, okay, man, like, man, I'm gonna give you, like, I'm
He
gonna,
makes you think. He makes you really think deep.
right. And Biggie, it was like, it was a little bit harder, but at the same time, you could still feel, you know, the shit
Mhm.
that he went through. So I loved how they both kind of like expressed it in different ways.
Exactly. I see like Biggie too as, and both of them are really, if you look really back, like we have people saying, oh, like maybe Thug's a face or maybe Jay-Z's a face. And if you really go back, those two are probably the faces of the whatever sound it is, because I feel like Biggie is a melodic, more melodic person. Not that he didn't have some harder stuff, but he's a more melodic person. And then Tupac's the more, if you see a J. Cole or type person, you know what I'm saying? You got those two faces at the end of the day, when you really look back at it.
What's dope is that you remember that song that Biggie did with Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just like, oh my gosh, like how did you?
And that's what I'm saying. He can touch that, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But then again, Tupac can touch something at that level, just like changes, you know what I'm saying? He can touch something at that level too. So it's I just love like those two. If I could say what I look up to is just those two. I watch both their movies, anything, all that. So I try to stay intact with them.
Yeah. So now we have your new project, which is like a full LP, sir.
Yeah.
Crazy. So the 10th Symphony, and tell me a little bit about the name of that.
Oh, the name?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people, so to be honest, it was, not that it matters, it was supposed to be the devil's work. And some people are like, whoa, like, what are you doing? But it was supposed to be like more of a mockery, more like, hey, like if you ever seen something good happen and everyone's like, oh, like that's the devil work, that's the devil's work. But in reality, it's like, no, like this is not really, like you're going to say it's the devil's work, but it's not like, but talks with the team, they're like, yeah, it's iffy, you know, maybe in the future if we wanted to, you know, because we'll have a better pool, we can do certain things. But, and then I'm a big fan of like Beethoven, like I play the piano. And it's not even like his music or not, and just of who he is, because in music class that's all I really hear about, and I've always loved music. So Beethoven, I know from what I've already knew, is like his Ninth Symphony was his last symphony before he died, and like there's like conspiracy that he was supposed to drop another one or whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, the Ninth Symphony was one of his best work, and he was one of the best composers ever. So the 10th Symphony is more me being like, this is the next best body of work type thing.
That's super clever. I like that.
And I don't know if I'm gonna keep going with the symphony, whatever, which would be cool or something. But it was more just for that. I should say it was more just for the body of work. Like if anyone knows about Beethoven, this is his next one in new form.
Well, here's what's interesting. Like as I was listening to you, because again, I talk to, you know, people on the team on this show, like, you know, producers, managers, that kind of stuff. And your brand is so important, right? And I like that they kind of like saw that too, because even as a podcast host, like it's called Talent You Should Know, right? That's not the name it originally was. It was called Just Trying to Keep the Lights On. That was that was the original name of the podcast.
Yeah, you got. Yeah, I think that Talent You Should Know way more catchy. I'm like, oh, who should I know? Like,
and I got like a business strategist. Like I paid however much for like a few hours, and she was like, "This is based off entertainment." She was like, "Artists are trying to do more than trying to keep the lights on, so you're gonna have to people know what you're talking about." I said, "You're right," and so I picked talent because I'm like, all right, I don't want to just, you know, pigeonhole myself into music or whatever, you know. So
yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, so I love this. I did like this album because I felt like it went through all the phases of heartbreak.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was how you did it, but it was just like it was kind of like, hey, you know, maybe I'm not feeling this great. Then it went to, all right, well, now I'm just going to wall out.
Yeah.
And then you ended it off with a crush. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
thought that was really, really smart. And I said, stop it. You said, honestly, I came from poverty. And I thought the feature you had on there didn't overpower you. You know what I'm saying? And the sound wasn't in competition with your voice. And that's super
Mhm.
significant when you're picking someone for a song.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you. Actually, once again, that's another artist on my team.
Right.
I try to like I love outside artists, like obviously like Mark Battles, like certain outside outs, Dun Dun's on there. I love outside artists, but I like me and the artists around me. Our chemistry is already there, so it's like I had Stop It for I want to say 2 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, I had Stop It done without the verse, and I said, "Yo, like Native, like." Can you throw a verse on this? Like, I don't even know what to do with it. She's like, yo, I love that song. Like, whatever. Send it to me, please. I'm like, whatever, boom. She did the verse. I said, bro, this is crazy. I actually didn't think, I thought it was crazy to me because I love the song so much.
Yeah.
As far as like the feedback from it though,
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, maybe the song is really, really nice. But as far as the whole album, most of the artists, like I said, other than Mark Battles, is really I know personally, like is really tight. Mark Battles, I had that song. That's probably the oldest song. I had that for 4 years. Me and Mark, I knew him for like 4 years. So
Yeah. So I'm just gonna touch on a couple of them. Hit List, I was like, that's definitely after breakup, no fucks given. Like that's what that whole song is. And then I thought On My Slats. I love that song. And what I said was the intro to that was super dope because you could hear the lighter lighting. And I thought that painted such a good picture for the rest of the song. Was that on purpose?
yeah, on my slats was actually going to be an outro.
Okay.
Until I made the outro, and I was like, oh no, this is not going an outro. And then I put it in the beginning. And All My Slats was really just supposed to be a freestyle song at first. Yeah. And then the end, I never heard the end, but the end was there when the producer sent it. Yeah. Because I try to work hand in hand with him. If I don't, we just work it out, numbers, whatever. But the producer, I never heard the end. So once I heard the end, I'm like, oh, whoa, there's more to this. So I finished it and I'm like, yeah, this is going, the way this sets the tone, I love it because it shows, it gives a bounce, but at the same time, lyricism wise, I want the people to know, hey, this is going to be the feel. You're going to get this bounce and more, and you're also going to get this soft towards the end of the song I'm talking about and more of that. So you had those two balances.
Well, another thing I liked on this album, the We On Freestyle, and you said, hold up, we putting this on the album? I thought that was super clever. You know what I mean? When it just kind of like drops and you hear that. Yeah. I think that, it's those kind of like, little things that you do that keep people interested because they're like, oh, he's just cool as hell or, things like that.
Yeah. No, that, believe it or not, that was real. I don't know if you heard when the stop is. You'll hear someone in the background talking.
Yeah.
And that was real. And then as far as like we putting this on the album, and I just went back, man, I don't give a damn. But like obviously the rest of it was recorded, but I made sure I saved that part. Yeah. And yeah, that was I forget who was that in the background. Probably my man D-Rock. I was in college. I recorded that in college.
Yeah.
But as far as the song, I loved it. It was just so fun to do. Like that song was fun.
Yeah.
And I sent it to Battles and he was like, yo, this shit hard. I'm like, for real? You think it's hard? And mind you, he followed me one day. Yeah. And I never knew who he was at the time, this 4 years ago. But 2 weeks prior to that, some girl's like, oh, Mark Battles? I'm like, no, I don't know him. And he's like, oh, like she's this dude, like she's like such a fan. I'm like, oh, like he's tough, like whatever. And I'm like, went on about my day. And then he followed me. I'm like, whoa, is this a real Mark Battles? Like, yeah, bro, like
right.
Like I fuck with your shit. Like I'm like, oh shit, tap in. Like it was cool. Like we talk, like, you know what I'm saying? He's a humble dude, he's not bougie, nothing like that. So
yeah. That's cool.
And then it just came together very well, for real. That song, I love that song.
And it's funny because do you know Boyz II Men really well? Do you know like their
Yeah. So this is singing all this in the shower.
This is
4 Seasons of Loneliness. That whole album, that whole album go crazy.
So when I heard this track, right, it reminded me of them, and here's why. Because on that song, do you know "Ooh Ah"? Ooh.
Not lyrics wise, but I've heard it. Yes.
So in that album, they start off and it goes 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Okay, I know. Well,
someone drops something in the studio, and you hear it on the track, and it goes boom, 4, 3, 2, and I always remember hearing that, and I'm like, I'm glad they left that in. You know?
And they left it in. That I feel like sometimes, like me, even as a fan, I see something, I'm like, I could be watching something, and I feel like I'm with the artist, like documentaries or whatever the case is, or even hearing something in a song, and I just feel so connected. So I try to do that, like little, like, you know, funny things or like talking or stuff like that. I try to do that because fans want to feel you at that level.
Relate, right? And that actually brings me to the next song, Space.
Yeah.
It's like, it's such a real situation. Like, yo, you know, I'm kind of feeling it. You're like, yeah, you know, I got space. You don't have to go anywhere. You know.
Yeah.
You know, and
that I love that song, but that song, actually, it was partially written by Native named Niley too.
Yep.
She partially wrote it, but on that song is actually my girl singing on that song, but she just like she's more but like I said, like she has a great voice and stuff. She's just trying to find herself and what she want to do. She's a influencer. She's, you know, has her whole YouTube thing going, but as far as the song itself, that song was also another old song. It was probably like right after We On Freestyle I made that.
Yeah.
And then it was one of those, like, it's just sitting in the computer type songs.
Yeah.
And then I always try to pull my music back up and see what I can do with it because I just love certain songs. But I always loved the production. I've always loved the song. Yeah. So it's like, it's not that I don't want to put it out. When I wanted to put it out, I had to be perfect.
But and
that's how I seen it. So.
And that's super like smart, and that goes to like instinct because you know, you always hear the story of Will Ferrell, and you know that movie Elf.
Yeah.
That was the first movie he ever pitched to a studio, and they didn't pick it up.
Yeah.
Then he got more famous.
Yep. And then they wanted it, and that's what it is.
It's the #1 Christmas movie. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
What it is.
It's one of those things. Like sometimes you got to go back into the archives and they're like, I know that this is, you know.
Yeah. Right? And patience. I'm learning patience still now, but even growing up, like I was DJing. I'm like, oh my God, like I want to record, but at the end of the day, like I had a lot of things like I had to learn, like about even through DJing, I learned about the music business. So it's like sometimes I'm like, maybe God wants me to learn these things before I actually put something like that out or whatever the case is.
Well, what's dope is when I interviewed Mr. Hankey, right? He said that was what helped him produce, because DJing helps you read the crowd, so then you know what you need to do in the studio to keep them on, you know, to keep them on the floor, keep them wanting. Yeah. You know? So that's on your part.
Yeah, no, I try to stay consistent recording, but as far as like putting out and stuff, I always try to like I've learned now to be like 3 months ahead. You know what I'm saying? But it just took learning, like patience once again.
And then the other one is Sacrifices, which you have a video to, right?
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting. You kind of have a binary code thing that was going on throughout the video. But what I liked is the lyrics. You said, "Seems like my status brings me static." And then the other part you said, "I'm fighting demons and pain. I'm working overtime. I'm overtired." You know what I'm saying? And I really like, again, how visual it was, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that as far as you said, what was the first one you addressed? Was it the demons one?
What happened?
Your first lyrics you addressed?
I said, "Seems like my status brings me static."
Bring me static. So that is like, once again, going back to like I try to like resonate my true life in those type of songs. Yeah. Once I started DJing and I started, you know, getting money and becoming this good DJ and working with all these people, like even at a smaller level, like I still see myself still at a smaller level no matter what it is, but you still have issues that arise in any type of way, like bro, like I've been with you, or I've known you for this long, so like you think you can cut down this price on DJing, or hey, I think my voice is an instrument, so like if I don't have an organic chemistry with you, like I'm not gonna give you a verse. That's just what it is. I probably won't, not even if you pay me, I just won't do it because I feel like my voice is powerful. So so at that point, a lot of people when I'm DJing everywhere, a lot of people were acting like that, and that just always resonated with me. And like, hey, like, you know, the higher you get, or the more better you get, you're gonna have more problems, and that's just true. More money, more problems, whatever the case is, you're gonna have more problems. So that's what it really means. My status bring me static. And yeah, and then as far as the demons, like I going back to what I said, there's a lot of like, sometimes I be feeling like weights over my shoulder, like when bad things happen. But that whole song is just like expressing that, like how we were speaking about earlier, just giving it all out. You know what I'm saying?
Like when you said "damn, it hurts," I was like, man, I feel that.
Yeah, because and there's really, and that goes back to the times I really used to be like to DJs coming up as a DJ, like, hey, I have this song, I have that song, and like you would give it to the DJs, and it's like I also didn't have a connection with these DJs, so I'm just doing it because I'm doing it. And then I would give it to them, and they would just not play it. And it hurts, whether it was right or wrong, whether they should have or not. It just hurts. It's like, dang, like you didn't even give it a chance. So like you don't even know. Like, yeah, you probably have 100 people doing this, but you don't also know. So
do you know what you're gonna do next with this album? Like, how is it being received right now?
I can tell you that there's so I have a music video for Hallways coming.
Awesome.
No one really knew that, but now if they watch this, they're gonna know that. So tap in here if y'all want the scoop. And then I have a live performance coming.
Really?
For that. So yeah, we actually we just right now in rehearsal, a lot of rehearsal. Shout out to Under Construction. They're just a group that they're very talented. But yeah, we got a live performance coming. Other than promo, of course. And then I have just rollouts, more music for the rest of the year.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being on the show, for taking the time out, fixing your setup, doing the whole thing, you know.
Hey, I had to, man. Really, I seen your platform. Your platform was crazy. I said, yeah.
Thank you. So
no problem.
The final thing is I want you to tell everyone where to find you, like all the platforms, everything.
Yeah, you can find me Music by Famous everywhere, Twitter, Instagram, and all my like Apple Music, Spotify, all that is in my link tree in my bio. And 9 times out of 10 will be there unless I change it for some random reason. But other than that, yeah, you can find me there. Take One Entertainment, Take One ENT on Instagram. And yeah, appreciate you for having me, for real. Means a lot that even you took the time to listen to my music. Appreciate you.
Sure.
If you need the unreleased, you hit me up. I'm always giving unreleased.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Giving unreleased. So I love feedback. I love all that.
This is dope. This was really good. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you everyone for tuning in to another episode of Talent You Should Know. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel as well as leave a review. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.